amazing holiday. You know, I hope you guys celebrated in your home. You guys had a fantastic time. I hope you ate a lot. You know, whatever it is that you had to do, I hope you guys had a lot of fun, because I said to myself, you know what? I'm not even going to bother them. I'm not even going to let everybody enjoy the holiday. I'll let everybody have fun and let you guys literally just spend time with your family. And I think that's an amazing thing to be able to do, because family matters. Family matters. So I'm excited for you guys. Go ahead and type in the chat where you are calling in from, no matter if you're on Instagram, you know, Facebook, whichever platform, YouTube. Let us know. Let us know where you guys are calling in from. I want to know. I want to know where my people is at. I want to know where my people is at. You know, it's always an amazing thing to know where you guys are calling in from, because it's a great thing to know who I'm dealing with, right? It is a great thing to know who I am dealing with. So yeah, let me know. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Come on, let me hear where you guys are coming in from, because it's an amazing thing for you guys to just check in. You didn't have to be here, but you chose to be here. You didn't have to be here. I am traveling. Most of you, if you've been on the calls lately, I am still traveling, ladies and gentlemen. I've been traveling since the 12th of August. I must have gotten home for the first time just 2 days ago and spent a few hours, and then I left again. So, you know, if I can be traveling and I can be checking in and saying hello to all of you and spending the time, then I would love it for you guys to do the same. Yes, please. Tag a friend while you're at it. Tag a friend, tell a friend, listen, you got to join on. You don't want to miss Mr. Boston, you know, summit. You don't want to miss this leadership summit, where we talk about strategic conversation, okay? Where we talked about strategic conversation. And again, thank you guys for joining. We're going to jump right on in as folks jump on from wherever platform, wherever in the world. You guys just go ahead and catch us up, because, you know, you don't want to deprive those who already said, look, I'm plugging in. You know, I see Mr. Scott, he's plugged in. I see Mr. Roche, he's plugged in. You know, I see Mary, I see these individuals plugged in because they want to be able to participate in this leadership summit. And for those who are newly joining this summit from wherever you're joining, we have strategic conversations on this summit, okay? We talk about things that may upset the norm, and we talk about things that will allow people to grow, no matter the position you're in. You know, you guys just saw that video a while ago, and it's amazing. It's by the amazing Will Smith. You guys hear him talk about self-discipline, and it's such an alignment. You know, I was studying the topic of which I want to speak on, and you guys know it's really all about taking information from you all at the end of these calls, find out what you guys want to hear, and then addressing it, right? And I decided, I said, you know what, I wanted to speak about two things. And I said, what's key for me to talk about with these last few weeks of experience, right? Coming from a major event that we had in Dallas, Texas, to heading over to New York City and having events there, and heading into other cities in the Northeast, and literally opening markets with business, different opportunities that we're scaling and allowing people to participate in. What I realized is that of the topics that you guys gave, that I needed to really talk about a topic on self-discipline. I really needed to talk about a topic on self-discipline. And I know a lot of people had asked about that some time back, but, you know, a lot of the times you feel like you can be running with individuals, you can be connecting with individuals, you can see people that's fired up, but that does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean that they have self-discipline. You know, it so happened that we were moving around today, and my wife puts on one of the mentors that I study, and he was speaking briefly on it. And I said, wow, look at the alignment, because that's what I was studying. That's what I said, you know, I want to really talk about this. I want to talk about this a bit, because I think it's so necessary in the community. It is so necessary in our lives. It is so necessary in every aspect. And I want you guys to hold on to that word. I want you guys to look at that word, because, you know, when you're here, if you're sitting still, if you're at home, ladies and gentlemen, pen and pads, you want to have it, because there's always some information that you are going to be able to not only take on, but you should apply it in your life. Take what is necessary, okay? This is why we have this leadership summit, because you want to grab information, but you want to utilize information. So somebody should write utilization on their pad or put it in their notes. Utilization, so key. Utilization, write that down. Utilization. You want to make sure that you utilize good information. You want to make sure that you utilize good information, okay? Write it down. Utilization is so key. Now, you guys heard what Will Smith said, and here's what's so amazing. You know, as I was hearing him and I was studying my mentor earlier, one of the things it brought me to is it's quite a few different scriptures in the word that I study. And I love the word. And you guys hear me talk about the word a lot because I just love the book. I believe that we should continue to study in every aspect. And I think we should continue to read. And I think we should challenge ourselves to study even the things that we may think we don't like. Notice I said think, right? So, you know, it brought a good reference to me because for me and my house, we serve the Most High, right? We serve the Most High God. And when I heard about self-discipline, it made me think about two things. It made me think about 2 Timothy, right? 2 Timothy 1, right? Verse 7. It says, for the Spirit God gave us, do not make us timid, but give us power, love, and self-discipline. I need somebody to hold on to that, right? For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but give us power, right? Love, and self-discipline. See, sometimes you got to say to yourself, so what am I seeking? What am I looking for? What am I seeking? What am I looking for? Right? Because we got to understand what we're seeking and what we're looking for. So that 2 Timothy, it's so powerful for me because in a lot of space in what we do in being able to assess situations and teach and be a student myself in the process of teaching, and you're learning so much, you realize that, wow, we lack self-discipline. Most of us, we lack self-discipline. Most of us, we say, do you want to start up your own business? Small business, right? Or grow your existing business. Do you think about that? These are questions, right? Do you want to start your own business, your own successful small business, or do you want to grow your existing business? Or maybe you have no interest in owning a business, ladies and gentlemen, or running a business, but you want to be more productive at work. What do you think about that? Or you want to be more productive at work? Because I want to make sure you understand that you may not want the business. And not everybody wants a business. Folks are okay with working somewhere because they have a passion in that industry. But you may want to start your own business. You may want to grow your existing business, or maybe you just want to really excel at what you do, right? You want to be more productive at work. You may say to yourself, I can do that. You think to yourself, so why haven't you? You say, I can do that, but think to yourself, why haven't I? That's a question you should note down, and you should write to yourself, why haven't I? Because the next thing that comes after that, to accomplish any of the things that I mentioned above, it requires self-discipline. To accomplish any of the things that I mentioned above, it requires self-discipline. Guys, I want you guys to understand that one of my mentors that we study, the late philosopher Jim Rohn, okay? He says discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. That's deep. Somebody ought to write that down and embed that, type it in the chat if you need be. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Bridge. Somebody say bridge. Wherever you're from, type bridge in the chat. Wherever you're from, whatever platform you're on, type bridge in the chat. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So now, after you type bridge, I want you to hold this, right? Goals and accomplishment. How many of us have goals? If you have goals and you're true about having goals, go ahead and type 10 in the chat box. Type 10 in the chat box. After you've done with bridge, if you have goals, I want to type 10 in the chat box. Wherever you are, if you guys are on Facebook, listen, go ahead and I am me, put it on there, put 10. Instagram, put 10. YouTube, 10. Clubhouse, no matter where you're coming in from, listen to me, really good. Okay? Goals and accomplishment. You have goals, you type 10. Now here's the kicker. Have you accomplished any of them? Have you accomplished any of them? See, we all have goals. Have you accomplished any of them? I want you to hold on to that for a second. See, here is what I told you guys what the biblical sense, because see, I'm a man who believes in the word, right? It says, for the Spirit of God does not give us, right? It does not make us timid. The Spirit of God. If you're a person who believes that there is a power more than you. It says the Spirit of God does not make us timid, but give us power, love, and self-discipline. That's what I said, right? I went from a standpoint telling you about the text. Okay, but let's talk about what Webster says, the dictionary. Google is your best friend. What does Webster say about self-discipline? How does Webster define self-discipline? Webster defines self-discipline as the ability to make yourself do something that should be done. The ability to make yourself do something or do things that should be done. So let's do things. The ability to make yourself do things that should be done. Now that's big, because I'll read it again, because this is going to hit a few people. Webster says it defines self-discipline as the ability to make yourself do things that should be done. Now, side note, most of us, we don't want anybody to tell us to do anything. Most of us, we don't want anyone to tell us to do anything. But now, what Webster is saying that, listen to this, the ability to make who? Yourself. Do something. Do things that should be done. So now no one is making you, telling you, it is saying that you make yourself. And here's what happens. We can't even do that. We can't even do that. We cannot, most of us cannot make ourselves do things that should be done. I need you guys to hold on to that. I said, listen, we're bringing it today because you know why? We took a break last week. We took a break. Everybody enjoyed the holiday, right? So let's talk about this. Let's understand where you are, okay? See, it sounds simple. It sounds simple. But before you stop and you start saying, okay, well, this information Boston has given me, okay? I want you to think. You already know what you need to do. I want you to think, okay? I want you to think, because I got a few tips and tricks that will probably help you to become truly self-disciplined. So it's worth a few minutes of your time. So gear up and let's run for the ride. Are you ready for the ride? If you're ready for the ride, type 1 in the chat box or put energy. I need the energy from you guys. If you're ready for the ride, type energy in the chat box. No matter where you guys are calling in from, show some energy in the chat. Let's see some energy in the chat. I need to know who I'm dealing with. Let's see some energy in the chat. I need to know who I'm dealing with. Let's take a ride. Let's take a ride down this lane. Let's take a ride down this lane because we want to make sure that we're in the right space. We want to know what we're doing. See, in the entrepreneurial environment, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to be said. Listen really good. There's a lot to be said for just showing up on time, ready to work. As an entrepreneur, in the entrepreneurial environment, a space that you're not clocking in, you're not checking in with anyone else, you're not clocking in, trading your time for dollars, right? I said there's a lot to be said for just showing up on time, ready to work. See, meeting deadlines, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to understand this, how important this is, right? Meeting deadlines and commitments alone causes a person to stand out from the crowd. Causes you to stand out from the crowd. It's like almost saying, hey, there's an alien spaceship parked in the middle of a cornfield. Stands out, right? Meeting those deadlines, the ability to get things done and done right the first time will magnetically attract incredible contacts. It will magnetically attract incredible contacts, opportunities and resources that you need. It will attract that to you. It will attract that to you, ladies and gentlemen. All of this is a matter of self-discipline. See, self-discipline has the power to transform your life for better. I need you to understand that. Self-discipline, it has the power to transform your life for better. Remember what I said in 2 Timothy. Remember what I said the Spirit gave us. Self-discipline have the power to transform your life for the better. Imagine this, right? Imagine how much you would accomplish if you completed every task you set out to do. Somebody, I want y'all to imagine that right now. Take a few seconds and imagine that. Imagine if you completed every task you set out to do. And then I want you guys to type it in your phone or write it down. What would that feel like? How would that make you feel? How would that make you feel? Imagine you completed every task you set out to do. And then I want you to write down, how does it make you feel? How did it make you feel? And when you write it down, in your phone or on your paper, type it in the chat box for me. I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds. You set out to accomplish every task, okay? Every task. How does it make you feel? I love that. I see somebody said feels like bliss. Come on, guys. I love participation because here's the thing. The summit is not about me. It's not about Mr. Boston. It's not about the team behind the summit. It's about us working, loving, serving together, right? I want to make sure, how does that make you feel, right? How does it make you feel? Or if you establish, listen to this, right? Or if you've established, that's good. I like to see that. That's right. Or if you've established healthy, productive habits and actually follow through. Think about that. Self-discipline, very well, ladies and gentlemen, may be the key to unlocking your untapped potential. I want y'all to hold on to that. Self-discipline may very well be the key for unlocking your untapped potential that you have. That potential that you think is not there. That potential that somebody else may, if care is not taken, may make you shelf it, because you got to be careful what you let into your space, what you let into your ear gate, what you allow your eyes to see. Okay? So if you're tired of what ifs, okay? And if you're ready to do what it takes to get to your goals, let's talk about these 9 tips on self-discipline. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I want you guys to understand. Let's talk about these 9 tips. Give you a few tips about the self-discipline, because it is key for us to understand. It is key for us to understand. See, one of the things I told you guys about 2, there's so many different areas in the word. 1 Corinthians 7:5 talk about, do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, right? Right? So that you can be devoted or devote yourself to prayer, right? It's talking about that self-discipline again, to be able to come together and do something, or that self-discipline, or be able to will yourself to do something, right? See, here's the thing. Self-discipline is so powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so powerful. See, one of the first things I want to talk about is on these few things that I will give you that will help. One of the first things I want to talk about is changing your perception of willpower. So change your perception of willpower, or changing your perception, okay, of willpower. Somebody should write that down. Changing your perception of willpower. See, self-discipline, it is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. It is so powerful. This is why I said tag a friend and tag a friend and tag a friend. Say, listen, hey, Mr. Boston's on the Leadership Summit. This is for people all around the world. Because see, we lack these things and we need to speak on them. That's why we have strategic conversations. The first thing is change your perception of willpower. What is your perception of willpower? Think about that. I want you to think for a second. What is your perception of willpower? See, our very first or possible most important tip about increasing self-discipline, I want you to listen to this, right? Listen to this. It's not to give up before you even begin. I'll say it again. The very first, or possibly the most important tip for increasing your self-discipline is not to give up before you even begin. Remember, we're talking about changing the perception of your willpower. Your very first, possibly the most important tip for increasing self-discipline is not to give up before you even begin. See, so many people claim that they have no willpower. Listen to this. So many people, they claim that they have no willpower. And in so doing, they absolve themselves of the responsibility of behaving as though they have willpower. So they don't even try. I might have lost some of y'all. I might have lost some of you guys right now. I said so many people have claimed that they have no willpower. Need you to understand that, right? And because they did that, in doing so, they absolved themselves of the responsibility. Notice the word I said, responsibility. Of behaving as though they have willpower. So they don't have to try. See, responsibility and try. Should hold on to that. People do not like responsibilities. People do not like responsibilities because when there is responsibilities, right, there is an obligatory, meaning there is an obligation, right, to make sure you carry out or fulfill the responsibilities. That means there must be an action. That's what the try comes in. There must be an action, which is you trying, okay, to fulfill. So instead, they absolve, need you to understand, themselves. Some of y'all should look it up. Absolve. A-B-S-O-L-V-E. Understand. Right? Absolve themselves of the responsibility. They took themselves away. They removed it out of their thoughts. They removed it out of their mind. But they want to act or behave as if they have the responsibility. They have the willpower. See, that's psychological right now. That, you know what that is known for? We're talking psychology right now. We're talking psychology. That is known as what you may hear people call a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is what you call a self-fulfilling prophecy. See, a self-fulfilling prophecy, ladies and gentlemen, can be directed at yourself, at oneself, another person, a group, or even an object, an animate object. So literally, that fulfilling prophecy, that self-fulfilling prophecy, it could be directed to or at. I want you to understand that, to oneself, another person, a group, okay, or even that object or those objects. So I want to make sure that you guys are with me. See, our thoughts can dramatically alter our behavior. Your thoughts alter your behavior. You want to be self-disciplined. You want to develop that discipline that is required. Okay? Your thoughts will alter your behavior. Our behavior, in turn, can affect the likelihood of getting things we want. That behavior can affect that. It will affect that, ladies and gentlemen. The frequency in which you engage, ladies and gentlemen, the frequency in which you engage could be self-destructive activities that you're engaged in because you absolve yourself, but yet you're behaving as if you have the willpower. If you're with me, go ahead and type 7 in the chat. I want to make sure that you guys are engaged with me. If you're with me, type 7 in the chat. I don't want you lost. If you're lost, go ahead and type lost. Wherever you're calling in from, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is, Instagram. Hey, if you're with me, type 7 in the chat. See, there's so much that we can talk about on this. All right? It will destroy your abilities, ladies and gentlemen, to make good decisions. That's what it will do. It will destroy your abilities to make good decisions. The fact is, willpower is not something that you either have or don't have. Listen to this. Willpower, people like to think that, oh, willpower, you got the willpower, Boston, or you got the willpower, John, or you got the willpower, Raleigh, or you got the willpower, Andre. No, willpower, in fact, is not something that you either have or don't have. See, it may come more natural to some. See, this is what we mistaken. It may come more natural to some, but it is a behavior, ladies and gentlemen, that can be practiced and learned. It is a behavior that can be practiced and learned. If you incline to learn, it can be practiced and learned. If you're with me, type energy in the chat box. If you're with me, type energy in the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much. There's so much. But I'm you know, right now, I'm just going to give you these tips because I want to make sure that we are in the same place, right? I want to make sure that we are in the same place. The next one I want to give you is acknowledge your weakness. Acknowledge your weaknesses. Acknowledge your weaknesses. I want to make sure you guys have it, right? Acknowledge your weaknesses, okay? See, at some point, you got to understand behaving with self-discipline is inevitably, it's a means of resisting the temptation to do something more fun, right? Than the responsibility of the task. I need you to understand, you have self-discipline. You may say, oh, I want to go out and hang out all week. I want to go out and party all week. I want to go and go on all these trips with the girls. But you got to understand that if you have a task that needs to be completed, your self-discipline is what will keep you there. It may make you feel as if you're missing something, but there's a bigger picture at the end of the road. There's a bigger target that you're focusing on. There's a bigger goal that must be accomplished. So you can't get caught in the sense of, wow, I have self-discipline, so I'm missing the world. You're not, because you got the world in the palm of your hands. I'm hoping somebody's following me. So you have to understand that you must resist the temptations at times. See, it's a good idea to know where temptation lies. It's a good idea. See, you're on a track, you're on a path. It's a good idea to know where temptation lies. What are your weaknesses? That's what we're talking about. What are your weaknesses? What activities, food, material things tempt you into behaving in a certain way? You should really write those things down. What activities, ladies and gentlemen? What material things? What are the temptations? What are the things that lower you into behaving a certain way? A way that's counterproductive. It will counter your productivity. You need to know these things. It will affect that, your efficiency, your well-being. You need to know these things. See, the first step to defeat such weakness, ladies and gentlemen, is to identify the things. That's why I told you, identify them. Identify those things that regularly derail you or derail your good intentions. What is derailing your good intentions? What is swaying your thoughts into what it shouldn't be? You got to understand this. It's imperative, it's important to understand. Because if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, it will capsize your boat. It will capsize your ship. See, a change habit doesn't have to take long. You heard that? Changing a habit doesn't have to take long. Everybody thinks, oh, it's going to take so long. Changing a habit doesn't have to take long, but it's hard. But it's hard. You need to understand that. Really hard. Okay? See, but when it comes to counterproductive habits, you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand, you have to shake it. Now, how do we shake some of these things? How do we shake some of these things? How do we become more productive? How do we become better? See, when you are going to shake a habit, you got to understand it needs to be replaced with another habit. See, when we remove something, when we take something away, we have to add something, ladies and gentlemen. Because once we've identified the weakness and we know what derails us, now we know what area we need to move in and what productivity we need to put there so that that thing that which derails you will no longer derail you. Because why? You have replaced it with something of productive status. See, you can't change something if you don't realize you're doing it. So you got to identify it. You can't change something if you don't realize you're doing it. See, that's why you have to know your weaknesses so you can effectively navigate them. It requires self-awareness. You should write that down. It requires self-awareness. It requires self-awareness. Give you 4 pillars in that section right there. It requires self-awareness, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The first of the 4 pillars. Okay? It requires self-awareness. I'll give you one more. I'll let you guys go study emotional intelligence. Okay? Emotional intelligence. It requires it. Self-awareness gives you a better perspective to identify those traits that serves you well and the traits that do not serve you at all. You get that? So you can modify your behavior for the better if you can identify your own bad habits. Ooh! You heard that? You can modify your behavior for the better if you can identify your own bad habits. Catch them yourself when you're doing them. Boom, right there. One bad habit that impacts nearly everyone, it can bring noise to the world. One bad habit. So you got to identify, know, and catch them right there. Isn't that phenomenal if you're able to identify and grab it right away? I want you to think about this. On an average day to day, studies said people check their phones about 150 times. On an average day to day. Studies show that people check their phones about 150 times. Some of y'all right now probably saying, oh my gosh, how many times you check your phone? Type it in the chat box if you're aware of it. Type it in the chat box if you're aware of it. How many times do you check your phone? Study says, see, you guys are laughing because you're like, oh my gosh. Study said 150 times. And guess what? It says studies went far to say between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. And that's just your phones. Oh my gosh. And that's just your phones. Study says it. In fact, science proved, right, that notifications are mostly bad for us. The studies, not Boston. I was just studying, and in all my study, I came across it. I said, oh, I need to jot this down. Okay? Psychological studies, experiments that happen psychologically for Harvard and these institutions, they studied it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? I need you to understand how these things affect you and how these habits can derail you unless you know how to replace these habits with productive behavior and productive outcome, that this new habit will bring productivity in your space, would bring productivity in your space. See, there's so much in depth in this particular teaching, ladies and gentlemen, with self-discipline. When you ask for it, I don't think some of us was ready. Said, look, we need self-discipline. I said, self-discipline run really deep. We can stay on self-discipline for a week or two because it's broad, ladies and gentlemen. Understand, when you are checking, as studies show, it says these brief interruptions were found to be extremely disruptive because they broke the flow of the task by diverting attentions, making it difficult for participants of the study to properly focus on the task at hand. That's what they said. That's what they said. You hear that? So now let's have a conversation about that. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Because I'm guilty. Let me start with Boston first. I'm guilty in an area. What area am I guilty in? I may be having dialogue with my awesome wife. And it always happens there. I need you to understand. It always happens there. And we might be having a dialogue, but the phones are going crazy. I should have put the phones on silent. I turned and then put them on silent. Listen to this. But the eagerness, the urge, even in the dialogue and the conversation we're having, the urge for me to still grab the phone and look at it takes my attention away from what I should really be paying my attention to. This is what they're trying to say. So the task cannot be completed at hand because why? You are so caught up. You're so caught up, but you find the excuses to say that, no, I just, the business, I got to check for my business. I have to take care of X, Y, Z, not realizing that you are showing the lack of self-discipline. You're not even disciplined enough to sit still to pay attention. So paying attention is a problem to pay attention. Ooh, I don't think some of y'all heard me. Paying attention is a problem to pay attention. So ask yourself, can I pay attention? Somebody ask yourself that question. Can I pay attention? Okay? We're talking about self-discipline, and we're talking about tips that will make you better, right? Tips that will make you better, right? Number three, I'll give you number three. Number three, leverage goals to counter temptations. Woo! Leverage goals to counter temptation. Some of y'all probably saying, okay, what does that mean? Leverage goals. I want y'all to hold on. I got scholars on this on this summit, so I know some of my scholars understand. Leverage goals to counter temptation. See, it's all well and good, ladies and gentlemen, to scope out the potholes in the road ahead, right? It's all good. But if you don't want to hit them, you should probably swerve. Oh, somebody must have missed that. I said it's all well and good that you go scope out the potholes in the road ahead of you. But if you don't want to hit them, you probably should swerve, right? You don't want to go head on, right? You don't want to go head on. So you want to set smart goals. You want to set smart goals to help you outsmart. Listen to this. Set smart goals. I didn't say set goals. Set smart goals to help you outsmart the bad habits that usually undermines you. You heard that? Set smart goals. Some people say, I set goals. No, I say smart goals. Every goal ain't smart. We're going to have a conversation about that another day. Set smart goals to help you outsmart. That's why it's at smart goals, to help you outsmart the bad habits. Because remember, this is happening to you. It's happening to self. Self is the one that when the information comes to you, you are the one that's changing it. So self is extremely smart. Self is aware of some of the things, and some of the things self is not aware of. So what am I speaking of? I said you have to set smart goals to help you self outsmart the bad habits that undermines you. What does SMART stand for? Write this down. What the SMART stands for. What the SMART stands for. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. See, some of y'all might have been missing. Your SMART goal, you say, oh my gosh, SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So I'm gonna give you a breakdown in that, and then we're gonna just really dive into the mind with everybody right now on this call. Set goals. What is it saying? Set goals that meet these criteria. It will set you up for success and more likely deliver real results. That's what it's talking about. You want real results, ladies and gentlemen. Set those goals. Here's how it might look in practice, right? You know that you tend to get boggled down answering emails from your colleagues and your coworkers who always come to you for answers. And you find yourself that you're the one who always are giving these answers, right? You lose track of time. And this is it. When you feel you got the answers, right? You lose track of time of your own to-do list, or your own to-do list suffers. Some of you right now saying, oh my gosh, because you got the answer. So you find yourself responding. So now your to-do list suffers. In this scenario, your SMART goal for busting the email habit might look like this. I will complete one task. Listen to this. So what I wrote down, I will complete one task on my to-do list before I spend 20 minutes responding to emails. Did you think about that? Complete one task on your to-do list before you spend 20 minutes responding to emails. Repeat that as necessary. You want to repeat that. See, you got to affirm that. It's not just the doing, it's the believing. It's the desire that you need to have, which will bring this understanding. So you want to repeat that. I will spend 20 minutes responding. Listen to this. I will complete one task. I will complete one task on my to-do list before I spend 20 minutes responding to emails. I will complete one task on my to-do list before I spend 20 minutes responding to emails. Repeat it as necessary. This is specific, ladies and gentlemen. This goal, it's specific. One to-do item, 20 minutes of email. Easy to measure. Isn't that amazing? Easy to measure. If you can count to 20, then it's easy to measure, right? If you can count to 20, then it's easy to measure. Attainable. Adjust the terms as needed to make your goals work for you. That is what I'm giving you. This is why I gave you this measuring stick. Adjust the terms as needed so you can make it work for you. Okay? Relevant, specifically, address your challenges. Address your challenges. So you know exactly that you are putting a formula in place. You are putting a formula in place. So now you're not caught up doing the things for the coworkers and your to-do list is being suffered. It's being stifled. And these type of goals, that process can be repeated multiple times a day. What is it doing? It's reinforcing a success habit, a success feedback. Let me start there. A success feedback. It's reinforcing a success feedback. It's reinforcing what you need to complete, and you will see it completed, and you will know now that if I respond to them, it will be after I have completed this task, that task, this task. So now that concept becomes the habit, and that habitual behavior becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy that you have given to you, that you must complete things that you have started and put on your to-do list. So that shows that you have been developing or have developed self-discipline. I hope you're with me. If you're with me, type energy in the chat box. If you're with me, type energy in the chat box. If you're with me, type energy in the chat box. See, if you're with me, type energy in the chat box. See, strategically, SMART goals with your biggest willpower, guys. And you will see your productivity soar. You see that? Strategically couple your SMART goals with your biggest willpower, and you will see your productivity soar. And what did I say SMART was? Does anybody remember what I said SMART was? Type in the chat box. If you remember one of the things, what I say SMART was, what did I say SMART meant? I gave you a few things. I said I gave you 5 things. What did I say SMART meant? Okay, specific, I see 1, okay, measurable, that's right. Okay, what else? What else? I want to know if you guys are with me. Is somebody taking notes? Is somebody paying attention? Remember, I said it's a problem for us to pay attention. That's right, attainable. And it's relevant. Attainable, relevant, and timely. Attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, I know that I'm going to have to continue this segment because when we get on the summit, we give you guys impactful teaching and information for about an hour. But I'll be honest with you, when you have individuals that need to absorb, you got to give them what they came to absorb. If you're loving what you're hearing right now, go ahead and let me know, say loving it. If you're loving what you're hearing right now, go ahead and let me type in the chat, say loving it. Because you guys, this is what we do this for you all. We do this for you to be able to acquire the information, to be able to measure where you are and what you need to do, where you need to be. Okay? Where you are, what you need to be. I want to make sure that you guys are grasping this. I want to make sure that you guys are getting every bit of what you need. Every bit of what you need. It is extremely important for you to understand how powerful it is with self-discipline. I started off, I said to you guys, I said 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for the Spirit of God does not make us timid. The Spirit that he gave us does not make us timid, but give us power, love, and self-discipline. Listen, understand me, ladies and gentlemen, it was already there. The Spirit that we have, it is already there. That's why I said it's not something that either you have or don't. Some may show a little bit more, but it's something that can be worked on and developed. So now within your organization, if you own a business, if you're a small business owner, if you're participating in a work share space, you're trying to develop your position in your organization, in your job, you want to get onto that another level from supervisor to manager, manager to VP or whatever it may be. Ladies and gentlemen, it requires self-discipline. It requires self-discipline. You cannot get anywhere in life without it. And once you acquire or you start working on it, it's something that must be done over every area of your life. Self-discipline. You cannot be disciplined in one area and not disciplined in the other. You cannot say that I'm good when I'm dealing with them, but I'm just bad when I'm dealing with you. No, it has to be practice. See, someone said to me earlier in a conversation that we were meeting, he said, man, you gotta practice what you preach. I said, yes, but you also need to preach what you practice. You practice what you preach, but you need to preach what you practice. And then you got to understand that you said practice make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. So we got to practice, but we got to understand the steps to get us to where we need to be. And those steps, ladies and gentlemen, are the few that I just gave you. And if you guys have been paying attention, right, we talked about the first one, and I said, change, right, your perception of willpower. That was the first one. That was the first one. The second one, I said, acknowledge your weaknesses. And then the third that I gave you, ladies and gentlemen, I said, leverage goals to counter temptation. Leverage goals to counter temptation. Now, here's where we're going to jump in on the next time. Number 4, we're going to jump in on and say, take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. Right? We're gonna dive down that lane as we come back. Take it one step at a time. You guys need to hold on to that. Take it one step at a time. Now, I know right now some of you might say, ooh, I gotta take it one step at a time. We're gonna dive in. Take it one step at a time. And I'll repeat the 3 for you guys one last time, ladies and gentlemen. To me the other night. One last time, okay? One last time, I'm going to repeat the 3 for you guys, okay? The first one, I said to you all, these steps in doing it is to change your perception of willpower. That was the first one. Change your perception of willpower, okay? The second one, I said, acknowledge your weaknesses. Acknowledge your weaknesses. And the third, I said, leverage goals to counter temptations. Leverage goals to counter temptations. And we will kick it back off at take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time when we come back on the following summit next Monday. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to get this. We have strategic conversations at this summit. This is about empowering people all over the world, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you do. It's about being able to get the information and apply it. But it's further than just application. See, first we say knowledge is power. No, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. But here's the thing, there's something missing. If knowledge is power, oh, you got some knowledge. Well, you got to apply the knowledge. But here's the thing. It doesn't stop at the applying the knowledge, because the applied knowledge need to bring about the outcome that is desired from the knowledge that you acquired. I'm gonna say that again. You can't just acquire the knowledge and hold on to it. You have to apply the knowledge, but you can't stop at the applied knowledge, because it need to give you the desired outcome from the knowledge you have acquired that you applied. Did I lose y'all? Or are you with me? If you're with me, type with me in the chat box. If you're with me, type with me in the chat box. Because we get caught when we hear said, I got knowledge. Well, here's the thing. I'll leave you guys with something real. I'll leave you with something to ponder on as we kick the week off. I'll leave you to something to ponder on. Do you know that we can acquire a whole lot of knowledge and it will be the wrong knowledge? I know somebody probably saying, hold on. We can acquire a whole lot of knowledge and it can be the wrong knowledge. So I need you guys to understand when I said what 2 Timothy meant. I need you to understand when I broke down what Webster said about self-discipline. And what was most important is when I said to you guys what my late mentor Jim Rohn talked about. What did he say about discipline? He said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So what are you setting out to accomplish this week? How have your week before this, how has it been? What did you do yesterday that prepared you for today? You're here today, so I know you're getting a send-off with power and energy for the rest of the week. So what are you going to do? What are you going to take from this power, from this energy? And how are you going to apply it to see the results throughout the rest of this week? That is the word from me, Mr. Boston, today to all of you phenomenal, phenomenal human beings on this next side all over the world. I say, grab the power, hold on to the energy, let it surge in every area of your being, and then unleash that energy. And I guarantee you, once the energy comes out of you, whoever is in the spectrum, whoever is in the way, whoever is in the thought process that need to be touched by that power will be touched. And you will either get a phone call or you will be getting rearrangements as, well, your supervisor seat, you don't need it anymore because you're going into the managerial seat. Your managerial seat, you don't need it anymore because you're going in to the owner's seat. So let's power up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's crush this week. Let's win. Let's take it to another level. So much love for all of you. So much love that you guys decided to join this movement today. You guys know who I am. Again, it's Mr. Boston. It's our leadership summit. I love it. I love it. I love it. So much love to you all. If you need me, if you know who I am, if you know how to connect with me, guys, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to me. Get with me on Instagram. Get with me. If you have my phone number, reach out so we can connect. We can talk about how you can level up in different space, in different things that we do, because this is an international movement. Much love, much respect. And I will see you guys at my two favorite places, the beach and at the bank. Love y'all. Again, it's Mr. Boston. You guys have a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal evening.